How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs made a trade the other day. We traded Gage Workman to the South Side here in Chicago. We're going to discuss Dansby's struggle as a whole here on the club, and we're going to discuss the play that might have cost the Cubs the game on Sunday Night Baseball, and we'll preview the Pirates series here towards the end of the video. But before we get into all that, I just want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all your support on the Cubs Daily channel. The likes, the subscriptions, the comments, they're all absolutely wonderful. I want you guys to keep it up. My comment for you today is, what should the Cubs do about third base? It's been a rotating door ever since we let set Matt Shaw back down. How do we solve this issue? Is it by going out and getting a big trade? Are we regretting not signing Alex Bregman? I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. So let's hop into today's video. The Cubs did trade Gage Workman to the White Sox for some cash considerations. Just unfortunately, Gage Workman was a Rule 5 draft pick. That does constitute, when you draft someone in that specific draft, that you have to keep them on the major league roster all season long. Now, you can cut them, you can do all that, but if you do decide to cut them, or you'll have to designate them for assignment, and then every single team in Major League Baseball will get a chance to sign or trade for him. They'll go in a certain order, etc., and the White Sox took that bait. So the Cubs traded him to the South Side for cash considerations. Gage has been quoted saying it's now his goal to beat the Cubs. Buddy, you're on the White Sox. You need to kind of figure out your own thing first before worrying about beating another team. The White Sox, unfortunately, are on pace to win 40 games this year. It's not the worst in the league, but it's second worst in the league. And honestly, I don't want to say Gage Workman was a bad player. It was literally like his first 4 or 5 starts in the big leagues. But those errors were not good, man. Those errors were very simple plays that a lot of routine big leaguers make, and it could have cost the Cubs a couple of ball games. I know for 2 of the games, in fact, the Cubs did come back and win, but you could have avoided that whole situation if you would have just made the play originally. So, Gage, I hope you find success on the South Side, but personally, I hope you find opportunity on the South Side, because there's just not enough opportunity on this Cubs roster. It's just too decent at the Major League level. So he might need some more work in the minors, but work at the Major League level, he's going to have to go to a team like the White Sox or the Rockies to find success. So hopefully you can start at third base in the White Sox and develop a little more consistency, because that's the key for these young guys, right, ladies and gentlemen? It's about the consistent reps at the position and at the plate that's going to help them figure out success at the Major League level. And unfortunately, Gage just was never going to get that here on the North Side. So I hope you find success there, Gage. But this month here in May, the Cubs will see you. So best of luck, my man. Now, let's discuss another Cub who's just been unfortunately struggling at the plate. This team has just been so incredible offensively that unfortunately by proxy, there is going to be a player that is not doing as well. And that player is Dansby Swanson at the plate. I will say, given his poor plate performance, he still has a 0 WAR, which you're saying, was he even 0 WAR? That's not good. That's just how solid his defense is. His defense has kept him afloat and not been a negative player on this team in the sense. Taking a look at his numbers overall this year, Dansby is just not doing that well. Now again, Dansby is not necessarily known as a power bat. He's not necessarily going to hit 30 home runs, drive in 100 RBIs, but he has a career 244 hitter, which is 60 points better than this number. He gets on base a little bit better than that, and he can slug the ball a little bit. He was off to such a good start this year, too. I mean, those first 4 home runs came within the first 2 weeks of the season, so he hasn't seen a ball leave the yard in a while. Not that he's going to see the ball leave the yard all the time, but yeah, Dansby's struggling right now, but it's baseball, ladies and gentlemen. I do think he will even back out. He'll get back up to 230, hopefully 240. He'll find the rhythm. He's really protected in this lineup. He bats in front of Nico. He bats behind Michael Busch. He's going to get the opportunity to hit the baseball. So Dansby's just got to figure that out. And then this Cubs offense will continue to roll, ladies and gentlemen. I 100% believe that. So, there was a play the other night, Sunday night game. Vidal Brujan, Trey Turner's at the plate. There's a sharp hopping ground ball, and Vidal Brujan backs up on it to field it and then throws across the diamond. There's a lot of things wrong with this play in terms for the Cubs. Obviously, you got to understand the situation. The player at the plate, Trey Turner, he's one of the fastest players in the league, at least from home to first. So, you kind of got to be up a little bit on the bag. Secondly, if it's a sharp ground ball in that sense, you kind of got to attack it because Vidal, you can't wait for the ball to come to you. If you wait for the ball to come to you, Trey's going to beat that out 10 out of 10 times. So, yes. Does Vidal need to be aware of the situation at hand? Absolutely. Does he need to be aware he's at the plate? Absolutely. I still don't blame him personally for this loss. I mean, it's a team loss. It's a team loss, straight up, ladies and gentlemen. I know the wind was blowing in. There was not that many RBI opportunities for the Cubs to take advantage of it, but a 1-1 game going into the 10th, you got to put that on the rest of your offense as well. Like, they had plenty of opportunities to rally up one more run, and you know that this team is perfectly capable of it. So, again, did the play seem to directly cost the Cubs the game? Absolutely. But I don't think that play should be the sole focus on it. I think Vidal will learn from it. He'll know. He'll have to understand the situation better. But maybe play more even with the bag. Because if he's even with the bag, he could field it and step on the bag. Because I believe the bases were loaded. And the Cubs would have been out of the inning. So, yes. Small little adjustments there could have saved the Cubs a few runs. Maybe the Cubs go into the bottom of the 10th and then they win it. But I personally like to think the game should have been won beforehand with the offense. Especially if it's a 1-1 ball game, right? 1-1. Figure out a way to score another run. Go win the game. So, the Cubs are in Pittsburgh today, ladies and gentlemen, for a 3-game set. So, breathe a sigh of relief right there, because this is where it should be easier for the Cubs. Now, in Game 3, we do have to face Paul Skeens, which is going to be tough, okay? Paul Skeens is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. But we're facing Andrew Heaney today. He's a seasoned veteran. He does not throw as hard as Paul Skeens. Hopefully the Cubs offense can, flex their muscles today and get right with a nice victory, especially since we're throwing Shota Imanaga on the mound. That should be a good get-back victory. This should be a good get-back series for the Cubs, right? I say bare minimum 2-3, ideal sweep of the Pirates. I don't know how we're going to beat Paul Skeens, but I think it's possible. I think it's very possible. The Pirates' offense is not that strong, but, again, you still got to go out and win the baseball games. You can't play down to the competition. The Cubs have played very well against the good teams. We need them to beat the bad teams. That's really the key. So, Game 1 tonight at 5:40 Central Time, ladies and gentlemen. Shota Imanaga versus Andrew Heaney. The lineups will be out later tonight. So, let's see if we can get back on the winning track and start winning series again. I'll be back tomorrow for more Cubs Daily. Have a good rest of your day.